All right, so to start, while already in a new project, we can just go to the Start menu. And I'm going to suggest today that we start working with the Illustrator file. All right, I think we have some more opportunities in there and some more potential, maybe is a better word, to edit our characters and manipulate them. All right, so we don't really have to worry too much about the tracking right now. We're not going to get any action happening until we customize the character. All right, so can I name this? Oh, that's cool. So I think, and as you build up these things in your project, I think it does try to get confusing. So naming them is going to be an important thing, all right? So character, that doesn't look right. So you can right click and do a rename. So now that has renamed my project or my scene to veterans character. And then this is going to be, yes, all right, so that's our new character that we have created there. So I'm going to rename that also. So if you do have a bunch of puppets and scenes, right clicking on them and then renaming is a really good, oh, that doesn't allow me to do that, probably because it's linked. All right, so I guess you can't really rename the puppets even though it's saying we can. Maybe I can add something to the end. Okay. All right, so you can add like a something. I guess it has to retain Chloe Illustrator 4 veteran, but then we can add like a suffix almost, if you think of it that way, at the end to rename that. All right. So everybody should be starting a new character and renaming that. So now that we have set up this character, all right, or kind of launched the Illustrator one, let's now edit it. So if we go select this puppet, go to Edit Original, it will open up in Illustrator. All right, so what I like about Illustrator, you know, we talked about Photoshop yesterday. We had to use all kinds of selection tools and stuff, right? So in Illustrator, you don't have to worry about that so much. You can just go and click because they have made all your different parts there. And then we can just double click our fill color and choose a color. And then I can choose another color or another item. And if I want to sample from the first, I can use this eyedropper tool, which is kind of nice.
Oh, so you're saying it's more easier to color in?
I think it's definitely easier to do selections and color in your items. I would go in here and, you know, change your colors. So we can select stuff in here, use our eyedropper, choose our colors, and Illustrator has some nice filters. Now in my original one, I found that there were some cool swatches like with textures, but they didn't carry over into Character Animator. I was trying to do a little research and seeing, you know, if we had to like do an image trace or something like that, but it was not really working. So I want to try to experiment with some other type of stuff as far as maybe a filter. So if we go to, let's see, trying to get some kind of like camouflage type of look or something, yeah, I think would kind of look cool. Right, so yeah, these filters.
Alright, so I go to the eyedropper.
Yeah, I don't really like that.
But aren't you able to bring in other like clothing from just like a photo?
You can, but then you have to like make it into a pattern, and that's, so that's what I was doing was there's all these swatches here that have cool patterns, and I applied them, which, you know, they have a cool look to them and kind of getting that texture, but then when I save it and bring it back into Character Animator, it doesn't read that swatch. So it just turns it to black. So that's what I was trying to find a way to do, was to use some of the filters maybe instead. And I'll only take a couple minutes. Maybe we can come back to that for our personal projects. But maybe one of these other effects can give it a cool look as well. So like this texturizer might look kind of cool. Just curious if this applies in Character Animator. So it's updating. Nope, I think it's still turned it black there. All right. So we'll come back. I don't want to spend too much time trying to figure out how to get these patterns. We can certainly spend a little more time when we get to your own projects and work with that. I would start by just changing the colors of all of your shirt. Maybe take off that the Character Animator logo, and I would say I want you to get some type of image in here, whether it's a hat, or maybe I'm going to do like an American flag. I think would be cool on the shirt also. So actually I'm going to search for that. We can just search for an image of an American flag. So if I copy this image from the internet and do a paste, and then I can scale it to fit maybe on his shirt. All right. So that would be the easy way, right? It'd be nice if we could just save it and then go back to Character Animator and have it upload, but it's not that easy, all right? Anybody know why, or have an idea why the flag doesn't show up when I bring it into Character Animator? Think about the different type of file between a Photoshop file and an Illustrator file. Does that kind of make anybody think of incompatibility? All right, if you remember, Photoshop files create a raster image, right? And that's basically what this flag is. It's a raster image. So how can we turn it into a vectorized image? Think about what you did with your logos. Anybody online can chime in too, if I've lulled you all to sleep.
Media encoder?
Not media encoder. That's a good guess though, because that converts files. Think about something in Illustrator that we did for our logos so that we could create our cut lines. Survey says image trace. Anybody remember that? You guys hearing me? Isaiah?
Yeah.
Ocean, right? You guys remember image trace, right? So if we use the image trace, and I'm going to do low fidelity photo, all right, because what I found was that high fidelity made it process very slowly in Character Animator. So that's all I have to do, I believe, is convert it or do an image trace, low fidelity photo. I'm going to resave this in Illustrator, and now if I come back to Character Animator, show me the money. Where's the flag? Come on. I did this before. That's how I did the hat, I thought. But, all right. Oh, maybe I have to expand it. Maybe that was the last part there. Try saving it again. I know that's what I did with the hat, so there's got to be... I know the only thing I did differently possibly there was I brought it into Photoshop, and I think I saved... Oh, there it is. Now the flag's on there, all right? So you just have to make sure you do expand. All right, so now I can see the flag. it's on the shirt, and as I'm moving around, the image moves around on there also. Alright, so that's the process of customizing your character. And what's nice, as you can see, alright, that's going to be a problem, right? The flag is moving with the arm. So let's see, if I go back, it's probably my layer ordering. So I know I have all these tabs open, so it definitely gets to be a little overwhelming. So I'm going to collapse and just look for my layers palette. And let's see how that is set up on there. So the flag, okay, so right there, our flag is in the left arm. All right, that's not good, right? We should have this grouped with the body background so that it's not controlled by the arm movement. All right, so I think if I just move it down here, well, now the arm is covering it a little bit. So I guess I'll just kind of move it over. I'll cheat a little bit. Maybe I'll make it, and we'll make it a little bigger anyway, so that we can see our flag here a little bit. All right. So now if I save this and come back, all right. So now our arm's moving, and it does well, and that's good. It should cover it when we move the arm like that. All right. So that's some good customization. I'd like you to change shirt color, maybe customize the hair or something. Another thing you can, we haven't talked about too much, if you did want to kind of change the face shape, we can start getting into using the pen tool, all right, and adding anchor points in here, or actually maybe even just using the existing. So if we select, you can see now that you can drag out the proportions a little bit more, so you can make it, kind of a little not as long of a face. We could kind of change the curvature and I'm using this white arrow though. It's called the direct selection tool. All right, so I can make his face like, if you wanted to be kind of a little more squarish, something like that. All right, and then we save that. Come back, and now our character is a little more modified with that. All right, so I'm going to move on, and I'll come back and help you guys at different parts, but I want to kind of go through the whole process here. All right, so the next part would be to get our audio, all right, to be synced to our project. All right, so I'm going to have everybody record a short clip just saying, thank you for your service, and we will use the studio for that. Once you have your file recorded, we're going to say import, and this is the folder that we're going to put them in. So I named it with my name so I could find it easily. Once it's recorded or imported into your project, I'm just going to delete one of these because I don't want to have too many files in here. All we do is we drag it from our project panel onto the stage. All right, now we see it added to the timeline. Then we select our puppet and we say timeline, compute lip sync from scene audio. So what that does is it modifies the mouth poses so that it matches with our audio. So now if we play.
Thank you for your service.
All right, so it has synced our character mouth movement to that audio clip. Pretty cool, right? All right, now we're seeing our timeline is kind of going on and on and on. So we want to trim that like we would in Premiere. So I'm going to zoom out on my timeline so I can see the end of this character. I'm going to bring that in so it matches the duration of my audio. I'll kind of pan over here, retrim again. And then the last thing we'll do for this is we're going to bring in a picture. I did want to use, I had a video clip of the flag outside at first, but I felt like it didn't import into Character Animator. So what we probably would have had to do was export from Character Animator, just your puppet segment, and then re-import both of those into Premiere. I said that's too much work for a demo activity. So what I figured to do was just to use a still image. All right. So from that, I have this image of the flag, which we can just drag onto our timeline. All right. Like I said, I want to get a better perspective of this because our character is not really in the right sizing of it. But what we can do is on our layers, all right, because this picture is not filling the screen now, we can go into our recording tabs over here. You have scaling, so I can make the picture bigger. I can move it around also, and I'll do the same thing with my puppet here. So I can move my position so it's not covering the flag. So we can kind of get something that's in a relatively good place here. Now what I found though, which I didn't really like, is that you can't really, I can move them off stage if you go little by little. So actually this picture isn't too bad. We can do like kind of a mid shot here of our character. Alright, and then we can adjust the duration again, I guess, of the picture, so that it's all like the same length. Alright, it kind of snaps to the end there. So now we have our picture with the flag here.
Thank you for your service.
Alright, and then finally, to get the arm movement, what we're going to do is, while this is recording, we can just move the arm around. So it counts you down.
Thank you for your service.
Oh. So, alright, so you see here, when it did that, it recorded eye gaze, face, and lip sync. Now really, we don't want any of that happening because we already have it kind of calculated from the audio. So what you're going to do is, in this record setting, we're going to turn those things off, the recording of them. So really, the only thing that should be happening is that we have, oh, I guess that's why it didn't move, because I didn't have my puppet selected. So now we can choose our character and kind of move the arm. Now as you can see, you can make him kind of like Plastic Man, so you have to be careful how much you're dragging, but that is going to allow us to do that. So I'm going to re-record now, just having, where did that go back to that? So we're just going to turn off all these other things so that when we record, those aren't capturing what's happening. Let's try this again. So I record.
Thank you for your service.
Press record again. Alright, so now look, under Chloe here, only the left hand is moving. Alright, so
thank you for your service.
and I think it records the audio too there for that, so
I was thinking about doing that.
I guess we could disable the microphone. Would that? Let's see if that does that. Just going to undo and go back. Alright, so now if I disable my microphone, it shouldn't record any other audio, so we just have that hand recording. Alright, so all our settings are good.
Thank you for your service.
Right, so good. So there's no other audio created. I can trim this down, and now I can play it.
Thank you for your service.
Alright, so that is setting up our motion, which we could then record again and do the other arm.
for your service.
All right, so we would save this. Actually, it's already saved, I guess. And the last step is to export via media encoder. And just give it a name and a location as we always do. So this was our old one. I'm going to press play. And it's processing through here now. All right, and now I look at the final result.
Thank you for your service.
There we go. All right, so that is what I'd like to try to get done here today. All right, so you're customizing your character, you're importing an image, you're image tracing it, applying a background image, recording some audio for that short little voice track in there, and then recording a little bit of motion. All right, so I have this recorded. I'm going to save it and post it. You can refer to that. And then or ask questions on how to do this stuff.